Time having arrived, I'd like to call this meeting of the Brockton Housing Authority to order. On behalf of the Board of Directors, we welcome you all. Chairman Timothy J. Sullivan, Vice Chair Ernest Pettiford, Member Janet R. Trask, Treasurer David Texera, Assistant Treasurer Carol Roberts. Just a reminder, as you know, we're back on Zoom, so all the motions and seconds, we got to do a roll call. We have to do a roll call for quorum and a roll call when the motions are made. If we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This is a roll call for quorum. Timothy J. Sullivan is here. Ernest Pettiford? Here. Janet R. Trask?
Here.
David Texera?
Commissioner Texera just called me. I just forwarded him an invitation. He should be on shortly.
Okay. He's not here at the present, but he will.
Not here now.
Carol Roberts?
Yeah.
Tom, could you do a regular roll call?
Absolutely. Commissioner Roberts?
Here.
Commissioner Trask?
Here.
Commissioner Pettiford?
Here.
Commissioner Texera? I can see him, I can't hear him yet. And Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I have to read off two COVID-19. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic and state of emergency, on March 12, 2020, Governor Baker issued an executive order temporarily suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. General Laws, Chapter 38, Section 20. Pursuant to the order, public bodies are temporarily relieved from the open meeting law's requirements that meetings are to be held in public places, open and physically accessible to the public, so long as measures are taken to ensure public access to the body's deliberations through adequate and alternative means. This meeting will be held. Oh, sorry, wrong notice. The other notice is the Brockton Housing Authority will meet virtually on Thursday, July 29, 2021 at 2 p.m. Due to the social distancing guidelines related to COVID-19 state of emergency, this meeting will be held remotely, not at the Brockton Housing Authority's offices. The public is invited to view and/or listen to the meeting via phone, computer, laptop, or tablet. To do so, download the Zoom Cloud Meeting app in any app store or at www.zoom.us. At 2 p.m. on July 29, 2021, click on and join a meeting and enter the ID number 857-7149-8387, passcode 369625, or use the link http://zoom.us/i/8577-149-8387. You may also join by calling conference line at 1-646-558-8656 at 2 p.m. on July 29, 2021, and enter meeting ID number 8577149-8387, passcode 369625, followed by the pound sign. The board chair will instruct the participants on the appropriate time and manner for public comment during the meeting. And there's one little addition to that COVID-19 state of emergency. On April 1st, 2021, the governor extended it to April 1st, 2022. It's been extended till next year. Item 2, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of June 24th, 2021. Item A in your packets. Mr. Tebow.
Mr. Chairman, I have had the opportunity to review the minutes. I have found them to be in order, and I would recommend that they be approved as presented.
We need a motion and a second on that.
I make a motion to accept the minutes from the regular meeting of June 24th, 2021. Second.
A motion's been made by Commissioner Janet Trask, seconded by Commissioner Carol Roberts. The motion is to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of June 24th, 2021 as written. Any questions on the motion or discussion? Hearing none. A roll call, Mr. Tebow.
Commissioner Roberts.
Yes.
Commissioner Texera.
Yes.
Commissioner Trask.
Yes.
Commissioner Pettiford.
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Motion carries unanimous. I need a motion from somebody to pull item 15 out of order and put it in its place. From anybody?
Make a motion to put item 15. Is it item 15?
We'll go in the place of item 2A.
To replace item 2A?
Second.
A motion has been made by Commissioner David Texera, seconded by Commissioner Janet Trask, to move item 15 to the front of the order and replace it being 2A. Any questions or discussion on that motion? Roll call, Mr. Tebow.
Commissioner Roberts.
Yes.
Commissioner Texera.
Yes.
Commissioner Trask.
Yes.
Commissioner Pettiford.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Motion carries unanimous. Let me dig out item 15. It's
Item 15 is the appointment of the Assistant Director of Finance.
No.
Exhibit L in your packet.
okay. Appointment of Assistant Director of Finance. Exhibit L in your packets, Mr. Tebow.
If I could ask Mr. Plouffe to start on this, please.
Thank you, Mr. Tebow. Members of the board, due to the expected retirement of Cheryl Elliott, who's on the call today, who we're all going to miss greatly, there's an opening in the finance department. We advertised in the Enterprise Online, the Mass Narrow website, looking for housing authority type people to move from another housing authority. We engaged a executive search firm. And after all of that, we received a number of resumes, excellent candidates. We conducted several rounds of interviews, myself, Mr. Tebow, and Mr. Pacius. After the interviews, it was clear that one candidate had the experience and knowledge that we were looking for in this position, Ms. Pilling, who's on the call. We first got to know Ms. Pilling when she was the accountant doing all the financial work over at the Brockton Redevelopment Authority under Steve Cruz, when the Housing Authority got a lot of grant money, and when we were building our affordable housing properties. After Mayor Harrington moved the home funds over to us from the BRA, we hired Ms. Pilling as the grant manager. She was on board while we developed all those properties and the NSP properties, the ones that won the national award, and doing an excellent job filling in different places in the finance department. She's familiar with our computer system. She left us for a better opportunity with the E911 system, closer to her house also. That job, she is in charge of. E911 is funded by $1 off every phone line you have every month. And then it funnels to the state, and then the state doles that out to every city and town. So every city and town has to apply for it. So she manages over 300 different grant applications and sending the money out to the cities and towns. It's on her resume that she graduated UMass Amherst with a degree in accounting. It's a magna cum laude. However, what it doesn't say, she was also working full time at that time. So we feel that Ms. Pilling can come into the Housing Authority and hit the ground running due to her time spent here in the past. And I believe we can recommend her wholeheartedly. And if you have any questions.
So she's not new to us.
Not new to us. Grew up in Brockton on, I'd say
Campello?
West Chestnut Street. Dan Pash.
Okay.
Is that Campello?
Good, that's good. That's close enough, yeah.
Janet's a big Campello person.
Okay.
If I could this position is extremely important. When it's done right, you don't know that it's done right, because the auditors come in and they say what, that it's a good job. Cheryl has done a fabulous job, and we will miss her terribly. Our auditors have told us they will miss her terribly. We are confident that Ms. Pilling will come in and have the same commitment. I know she has the drive. I know she has the intelligence and the wherewithal to do this. But it's one of the most important positions to the board, because it's one of the checks and balances to make sure that our money is spent properly, that it's allocated properly. And Mrs. Pilling has done that in very complex government situations. So I think she certainly did have a leg up on other very qualified candidates, but with little experience in government. So I don't know if you, Angela, if you'd like to say anything, or if you'd like to ask her any questions.
Sure. First of all, can you see me? Because I can't see myself. So I'm not sure if my audio is working, my visual is working okay.
We can't see you.
You can't. So I apologize. Okay, I do apologize that the video is not working. I did not do that intentionally. Let me see if I can. Okay, so that's not going to work. But I did want to thank Mr. Tebow and the board for this opportunity. Again, I grew up in Brockton. I lived there for 26 years. I've been working with 3 different state agencies for the past 26 years. Main focus in grant management. So I am looking forward to this new challenge. So thank you again for the opportunity.
It's not done yet, answer. Somebody has to make a motion.
Sure, okay.
Hang in there. Janet, do you want to make that?
Sure.
I'm sorry, Janet, before you make the motion, I have a typo. It says starting August 17th. I thought that was the Monday. It should be August 16th. I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
Ready to go?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I make a motion to appoint Angela Pilling of Berkeley, Mass. To the position of Assistant Director of Finance, effective August 16th, 2021, at the annual salary of $95,000. Roll
Need a
call.
second?
Second it.
A motion has been made by Commissioner Janet Trask, seconded by Commissioner Ernest Pettiford. Any questions or discussion on the motion? Hearing none. A roll call, Mr. Tebow?
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Texera,
Yes.
Commissioner Trask,
Yes.
Commissioner Pettiford,
Yes.
and Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Motion carries unanimous.
Congratulations, Ms. Pilling.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. And
Thank
just
Angela,
one,
don't leave just yet. Angela?
Yes.
and
Can you still hear
Angela,
me?
Angela, one question. Did you help us get the grant on Kennedy Drive?
I
No,
don't believe so. No, not that one.
no, because that's a good one, but I'm sure you've done many good ones.
It was most of the affordable housing projects that are throughout
Okay.
the city. Yes.
Okay, so they're probably a lot bigger money than,
Yeah.
Angela, I have one small statement to make,
Yes,
and I
Mr.
know you already worked here before, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. The statement is that we put our residents first at all times, and we're well aware that there's times when a resident can have some difficulties. But we say to everybody coming on or coming back that without them as residents, we don't need you and they don't need us. So we have to all work together to keep them happy. And I just wanted to say, welcome aboard. And hopefully someday we'll see you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I
Yeah,
do
we
look
also-
forward to meeting all of you in person someday.
Okay.
Congratulations,
Reviewing the bills
Angela.
with the board.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, very good.
Normally we shake your hand and bring you aboard, but we can't do it over the computer.
Understood. Thank you again.
We will in person though.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Angela, and we look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations.
Angela, you don't have to stay. I know you got a canoe trip to get going on.
oh, poor thing.
Thank you again.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Item three, hearing of visitors.
I do not see any visitors, Mr. Chairman, who would be here to comment other than staff who are here in their professional capacity.
I got Chris Lane, her hand is up. That she wants to say something.
Chris Lane, Bonnie, is there something you want to say, or did you accidentally hit the, I don't see the hand up on my screen.
I see it on Cheryl, the hand.
You do?
Yeah.
I-
Maybe
All right,
we're
so-
all seeing things. I don't know.
I got Chris Lane Barry hand up. That's
Yep.
all right. So we don't have anybody that wants to speak. Let me read off the notice. Any member of the public is invited to speak before the board. Visitors wishing to be heard will be allowed 3 minutes to speak on each subject. The board will take any issue under advisement and respond at a later date. Total time for hearing of visitors will be limited to 15 minutes. And I understand we have no hearing of visitors.
Correct.
And I just wanted to add that this meeting is being recorded. Item 4, correspondence. Mr. Tebow.
There is no correspondence, Mr. Chairman.
Item 5, approval of the bills of the special meeting of July 29th, 2021. Item B in your packets. Mr. Tebow.
Could I ask Mr. Texera, Commissioner Texera, to speak on this?
Commissioner Texera.
How you
On the
doing,
bill.
Mr. Chairman? Hi, Mr. Chairman. I did have an opportunity to review the bill and everything seems to be on order. I had a few questions and Mr. Tebow will definitely get back to us on the question that we had, but everything seems to be on order. So I will make it the motion to approve the bill of the special meeting of July 29, 2021 as presented.
Second.
A motion has been made by Commissioner David Texera, seconded by Commissioner Carol Roberts. Motion is to approve the bills for the special meeting of July 29th, 2021 as presented. Any questions or discussion on the motion?
I just had two questions, just because I hadn't noticed it before, but on the first page, number 1121 check, it says Mass Employers, SEUI Local 888 H&W, and it's $10,000+ for that. And I just wondered what that was, because we have a lot of SEIU, but I've never seen Mass Employers and for that amount of money.
Is that, I don't know if Cheryl is there. I believe it is our dental insurance.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Michael, are you there?
Yep. Yes, you're correct.
Dental
Okay.
insurance.
So well deserved. And then the other thing, the Brockton Housing Authority on the third page got $90,000+. I just wondered who gave us that.
That was a transfer from one Brockton housing account to another. That's
Okay.
all it was.
And it was
Wow.
the payback HUD. HUD gave us a little extra money and they wanted it back.
Yeah.
Ah, crummy. Thank you.
Did you notice it, Janet? We need a roll call vote, Mr. Tebow. Item
Commissioner,
5.
thank you. Commissioner Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Texera,
Yes.
Commissioner Trask,
Yes.
Commissioner Pettiford,
Yes.
and Mr. Chairman.
Yes, motion carries unanimous. Item 6, acceptance of resignation of Cynthia McDonough, FFS Supervisor, Exhibit C in your packets. Mr. Tebow.
Ms. McDonough is retiring. She has had a long career, a very, very successful career with the Housing Authority. She has run one of the top family self-sufficiency programs in the country. She has advised other housing authorities, led the state of Massachusetts consortium of programs, so we'll miss her. She had some personal reasons that she wanted to spend more time at home, and as I said, has submitted her retirement.
I'm very sad. I didn't realize this. I'm very sad to see Cynthia go. She's got a good heart and always tried to help the clients do better. And it's a big loss.
Yeah, no, she will leave a great legacy though. And I believe that, well, I know the Housing Authority will continue that program with the parameters that she set, which are to do just what you said, to help the people become self-sufficient and improve their lives.
I just wanted to add that she'll be deeply missed. I went to an award that she was given in Tampa, Florida. And she was just outstanding. She's just an outstanding person. And I hate to say it, but we're all getting older. There's been a ton of retirement this year. Pretty soon we'll all be gone. We need a motion, item 6, from anybody.
Give me one second.
Item
Yes.
6.
Give me, hey, Milk.
Item 6,
Yes.
a motion.
Yes. Listen, do you have time to come by the mattress me?
Oh, I'll make the motion. Motion to
Okay.
accept with regrets the resignation of Cynthia McDonough, FSS Supervisor, effective July the 6th, 2021.
And a second?
Second.
A motion has been made by Commissioner Carol Roberts, seconded by Commissioner Ernest Pettiford. The motion is to accept with regret the resignation of Cynthia McDonough, Family Self-Sufficiency Supervisor, effective July 6, 2021. Any questions or discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Roll call, Mr. Tebow.
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Texera. Commissioner Texera?
He was on the phone.
Yeah, no, it looks like he came back on. Well, we'll say he excused himself from the meeting for a moment. Commissioner Roberts?
I said yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I already said got you. Commissioner
Yes,
Texera.
David's back.
Yes.
Commissioner Pettiford.
Yes.
Commissioner Trask.
Yes, with regret.
Yes. And Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Motion carries unanimous.
I guess I didn't want her to go because I misplaced my paper, but I found it again.
Item 7, approval of the 2021 utility allowance schedule, Exhibit D in your packets. Mr. Tebow?
Mr. Plouffe, would you like to speak on this, or Ms. Bonnie?
I will. Ms. Bonnie can next year. So the regulations, the federal regulations provide that every year the Section 8 department has to review the utility costs in the area. We contract with the Old Colony Planning Council to do that. And if they have changed, we need to update our schedule. And what this does is that when our Section 8 participants are paying for their own utilities, if the utilities aren't included, then that gets deducted from the rent we pay. And so it has to be a uniform amount across the board, because we can't say Mary Jones pays this and John Smith pays that. So it's a uniform amount. The Old Colony Planning Council does a survey, and you can see from the schedule that they do it for different types of buildings, different numbers of bedrooms, and that sets the amount. So this is something required by HUD to do every year, and the board has adopted this every year.
Tom, is there an increase or decrease in this form?
Chris Lane?
A decrease. Can you hear me? A decrease.
Decrease.
Yeah, there's a decrease in it?
Yes.
Yes.
Utility costs are going down a little bit.
Okay. We need a motion from anybody, item 7.
Make a motion to,
You go, David.
make a motion to approve the 2021 utility allowance schedules as presented, effective September 1st, 2021.
And a second.
Second.
A motion's been made by Commissioner David Texera, seconded by Commissioner Janet Trask. Motion is to approve the 2021 utility allowance schedule as presented, effective to September 1st, 2021. Any questions or discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, Mr. Tebow?
Commissioner Roberts.
Yes.
Commissioner Texera.
Yes.
Commissioner Trask.
Yes.
Commissioner Pettiford.
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Motion carries unanimous. Item 8, approval of amendment to Section 8 Administrative Plan, adoption of Section 8 Administrative Temporary Supplement Emergency Housing Vouchers, Exhibit E in your packets. Mr. Tebow?
If I could ask Mr. Plouffe to speak on this, please.
Thank you, Mr. Tebow, members of the board. HUD has awarded us 31 emergency housing vouchers. These are a brand new category of Section 8 vouchers. And so in order to implement this, we need to have rules in place, because the rules are different than our regular vouchers. And this packet is to amend our Section 8 plan to add these rules in for these specific vouchers. And some of the different rules are that we don't have a wait list for these vouchers, that we take direct referrals from the continuum of care, Father Bills, the homelessness continuum of care and Father Bills, that there are relaxed CORI requirements, so that there are different rules on these vouchers. The other thing that's different is if somebody leaves the program after 2023, the voucher expires. We can't renew it after that. It just disappears. So there's a lot of different rules that go with this, and that's what this chapter is.
So they're not going to last forever, Tom?
These vouchers don't, unless the party stays, as long as somebody stays in the program, yes. but these are emergency housing vouchers to take care of a problem right now. HUD sent them out and said the rules will follow. And we've been scrambling for the last 2 months to put this together so we could present it to the board.
Is it mostly related to the pandemic or not necessarily?
It could be, but you know that we have a large homeless problem in the country,
The money did come through a funding mechanism through a pandemic bill.
We need a motion, item 8. And a second.
Motion to adopt the Section 8 Administrative Temporary Supplemental Emergency Housing Vouchers as of July 29, 2021.
Second.
A motion's been made by Commissioner Carol Roberts, seconded by Commissioner David Texera. Motion is to adopt the Section 8 Administrative Temporary Supplement Emergency Housing Vouchers as of July 29, 2021. Any questions or discussion on the motion? Hearing none, a roll call, Mr. Tebow.
Commissioner Roberts.
Yes.
Commissioner Texera.
Yes.
Commissioner Trask.
Yes.
Commissioner Pettiford.
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Motion carries unanimous. Item 9, authorization of Brockton Housing Authority to enter into a memorandum of understanding for emergency housing voucher implementation with Continuum of Care, Mass 511, and Father Bill's Mainspring. Exhibit F in your packets. Mr. Tebow.
This is one of the reasons we had to call a meeting now. This has to be approved by housing authorities by the 31st of July. So I'll let Mr. Plouffe speak to it, but it's one of the reasons, the catalysts for having this meeting. Mr. Plouffe.
Thank you, Mr. Tebow, members of the board. So after you just passed the amendments to the policy, that policy and HUD's requirements for these 31 vouchers require that a housing authority work with the local homelessness continuum of care and the local homelessness provider and require us to sign a memorandum of understanding with these groups on how these vouchers are going to be distributed. They came with some special funds so that the continuum of care and the housing homelessness providers can assist them with housing search, with maybe paying down some back utility bills so that they can rent up to help clear up their credit, maybe different things to help people to be able to utilize these vouchers. So we've been having negotiations back and forth through Zoom with Father Bill's. We've probably had 3 or 4 meetings, myself, the admissions department, Mrs. Rose and her staff, with Ms. Bonnie and her staff, and Father Bill's. And we came up with this memorandum of understanding. And they're going to refer 31 families or individuals to us for these vouchers. They're going to help them find a place and we'll manage the vouchers.
We need a motion from anybody. You don't have to read the whole thing. You just have to say so moved, item 9. I'll read it off at the end.
So moved.
Second.
A motion's been made by Commissioner Janet Trask, seconded by Commissioner David Texera. Motion is to authorize the Executive Director of the Brockton Housing Authority to enter into a memorandum of agreement for emergency housing and voucher implementation with Continuum of Care, Mass 511, and Father Bill's Mainspring as presented. Any questions or discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Roll call, Mr. Tebow.
Commissioner Roberts.
Yes.
Commissioner Texera.
Yes.
Commissioner Trask.
Yes.
Commissioner Pettiford.
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Motion carries unanimous. Item 10, award of contract.
Can I just Can I just, yeah, I should have asked before, but is it more likely to be single men than anybody else that will get these vouchers?
It's going to be who Father Bill's and Spring refers over, but it looks like right now we're going to get a number of families fleeing domestic violence that need emergency vouchers. And we will be getting some single individuals. The problem we have with single individuals is that one-bedroom apartments are very difficult to come by in the area. So we want to make sure that this is a success and that the people lease up. But we're going to do our best.
If I could just add to that, for your particular interest, Commissioner Trask, the referring agency for domestic violence families will be Family Community Resources.
Thank you.
Item 10, award of contract, integrated pest management, exhibit G in your packets, Mr. Tebow.
As the board knows, we spend a tremendous amount of money on addressing pests in our buildings. So this, we've been working with vendors for a number of years. This proposal is for a different type of method to address what we're doing. It's an integrated pest management program. I think Commissioner Sullivan and Commissioner Teixeira attended a session about this out in Pittsburgh when we went to the National Narrow Conference. And so we're excited to make this change. We're hoping that we'll be able to manage. This is more aggressive as far as staying on top of it. Instead of waiting for people to call us, we will be visiting them, doing inspections, trying to set up systems that knock down the number of pest calls that we do get. So if I could ask Mr. Where is he? DeChristopher to speak on this. He was the one who procured the contract.
Good afternoon, everyone. On May 10th, 2021, the Maintenance Department issued a request for proposals, soliciting qualified vendors to provide the authority with proposals for an integrated pest management program. The request for this plan is a step forward in how the authority addresses pest management. Integrated pest management is an effective and environmentally sensitive approach to pest management that relies on a combination of common sense practices. IPM takes advantages of all appropriate pest management options, including but not limited to the judicious use of pesticides. HUD strongly recommends the housing authorities adopt these plans to address pest management. On May 27th, 2021, we received 4 RFPs from the following: Page Extermination Services, Waltham Pest Control, Clancy Brothers Pest Control, and Burgess Pest Management. Attached to the scoring of the RFP after a 3-person panel review for the qualifications and then entering the fee proposal. After the evaluation of qualifications and after the fee was factored in, the review panel rated Burgess Pest Management as very qualified to perform the work and is the most advantageous to the authority. There was a significant distance between the first rated company and the other proposals.
And I want to emphasize that there was a significant difference in the quality of the proposal and the plan they put forth.
So I am recommending that the board make a motion to award Burgess Pest Management the contract for the integrated pest management program for the period of 36 months beginning September 1st, 2021 for an amount not to exceed $1.1 million.
If I could add one thing, because this was a couple of years ago when we've seen this in Pittsburgh, but it was completely different than what we're looking at and have been doing things since day one. We turned the buildings over to Burgess Pest. They do all the control of what needs to be done. If there's mice, if there's roaches, if there's bed bugs. We can, if we understand the troubles, we can just call them and say, we got a bed bug problem at Manning Towers. Come and fix it.
Yes.
It does put the responsibility on the, so we'll be monitoring this. Are we seeing a reduction in the incidences of pest?
Oh, it has to be monitored closely.
Very closely, yes. We were spending a tremendous, you saw $1.1 million is a lot of money, but right now we're spending about $330,000 a year the way we're doing it. We're hoping that that amount will come down. So and as Commissioner Roberts knows, quite often our residents don't call us when they have problems and they get bigger. So that's why we have to be more, the word's not aggressive, proactive in what we do.
Haven't we used a few companies?
Yes.
And so now that's not going to be the case?
Yes, we're using, we've been using 2. We're now going to be using 1. We were open to perhaps doing 2, but as I said, the difference between the proposals of the company we're recommending and the other 3, it was night and day.
Wow.
We need a motion, item 10, from anybody. And the same, you don't have to say the whole motion, just move item 10.
So moved.
Second.
A motion's been made by Commissioner Carol Roberts, seconded by Commissioner Janet Trask. Motion is to award a 3-year contract in the amount not to exceed $1.1 million to Burgess Pest Management for the Integrated Pest Management Program beginning September 1st, 2021. Any questions or discussion on the motion?
Can I just say something before we vote? For Janet's sake, for Burgess?
Yes.
My church uses Burgess. And before that, we have, because we have a food pantry and a soup kitchen, we had issues with mice, really bad. And they came in under their management, and they come out once a month to check. They have done a wonderful job. They have really done a wonderful job.
That's good to know. If other people ask, you know, from the experience that we have with the Housing Authority, it's good to know we can recommend them.
Yeah. And I mean, we had a mouse problem, and that's a small building. And we had a lot more than some of the people. It was bad. So just wanted you to know.
Thank you, Carol.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Item 10. Hearing none. Roll call, Mr. Tebow.
Commissioner Roberts.
Yes.
Commissioner Teixeira.
Yes.
Commissioner Trask.
Yes.
Commissioner Pettiford.
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Motion carries. Unanimous. Item 11. Award of contract, Section 8 Fair Market Rent Survey, Exhibit H in your packets. Mr. Tebow.
If I could ask Mr. Plouffe to speak on this, please.
Thank you, Mr. Tebow, members of the board. For years, we at the Housing Authority in the Section 8 department believed that our participants were getting shortchanged because the rents set by HUD as our fair market rents that the board sees every year when they set the payment standards were low. They're much lower than the Boston area. If you go to Stoughton, the monthly rent could be $400 higher for the same type of unit. So in order for us to resolve this inequity, we have to present HUD with data. We have to say, hey, you made a mistake. Here's the data that backs up that mistake. So we have to do a survey. And the survey is very specific according to HUD's guidelines. We have to get at least 100 responses that are not somebody in a subsidized unit, somebody who has been there less than 2 years. There are very specific criteria that they want. We put an RFP on the street. We had a number of people who requested the proposals, the RFP package, and we got 4 submissions. One of the submissions, Washington State University, included their price in their proposal. So we disqualified them. Even though they put it in a separate envelope as instructed, they also put it in their narrative. The other three we reviewed. I had a committee of myself, Bruna Campbell of the Section 8 department, and a consultant that we're using, Manette Donovan, who's an attorney who used to work for the Boston Housing Authority, very knowledgeable in this area, has been having conversations with HUD about what their requirements were. After we reviewed the proposals of the other three, it was clear that ICF Macro, which is one of the big players in the country, maybe 4 years ago, Boston, Cambridge appealed their fair market rents and was successful in getting HUD to raise them. They're the people that did their survey. So we're very confident that this company will successfully get the number of responses. It's difficult. I'm sure you all get in the mail the survey thing from Nielsen, has the dollar in it. They say, you know, send it back. You can keep the dollar. Well, I just keep the dollar. I never send it back. I don't tell them what I'm watching. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people do. So in order to get people to respond to this survey, they're experts in it. And hopefully once we get the results, we'll have a successful appeal of HUD's fair market rents for our area. I'll give you a small example of why we feel that they're off. They assign a small area fair market rent number to 02403, which we know 02403 is the post office, and it's the post office boxes. People who live here in Brockton, there is no house that has 02403. It's either 01 or 02. 03 is the downtown post office is 04 Campello, and 05 is Montello, I believe. And so they have assigned rents for those post office boxes, which we say you're wrong, but we have to have the data to back it up. And this is the way we have to get the data.
Seems interesting that two universities get involved with these proposals.
Well, one was a university and one was a gentleman who worked for universities doing student satisfaction surveys, but he had never had any. UMass didn't respond to us. They took it, but they didn't respond.
I see.
Mr. Yung Chi Sung does surveys for universities, but he had never worked with HUD before and didn't understand the parameters we were looking for.
We need a motion, item 11, and a second.
So moved.
Same thing. You don't have to say the whole thing, just so moved. Item 11.
So moved.
Second.
A motion has been made by Commissioner David Teixeira, seconded by Commissioner Janet Trask. Motion is to authorize Thomas G. Tebow, Executive Director of Brockton Housing Authority, to enter into a contract in the amount of $96,983 with ICF Mako of Fairfax, Virginia, to provide a survey of rents to provide the basis for appeal of HUD's fair market rent determination. Any questions or discussion on the motion? Roll call, Mr. Tebow, hearing none.
Commissioner Roberts.
Yes.
Commissioner Teixeira.
Yes.
Commissioner Trask.
Yes.
Commissioner Pettiford.
Yes.
Commissioner Sullivan.
Yes. Motion carries unanimous.
Thank you.
Item 12, award of contract, indefinite energy performance, Exhibit I in your packets. Mr. Tebow.
This is related to two things. One is our energy performance contract is performing so well, it's throwing off so much money that HUD might recapture some of it. So what we'd like to do is do another review of the authority and find some capital programs that we can invest in and make the improvements at the authority. And the second part of this has to do with Campello. if we are going to separate Campello from our portfolio, we have to take the EPC, the energy performance contract information, out of that program. So it's tied to what we're doing down at Campello also, as was the Section 8 fair market rents, but I'll talk about that at a later date. If I could ask Mr. Barry to speak about the procurement.
Thank you. Again, on May 19th, actually 2021, the capital improvements solicited for request for qualifications for our EPC, our energy performance contract phase 3. The RFQ is for a single company, and it was to update our 2016 physical needs assessment for our portfolio. The other issue was to verify the existing EPCs that are in place through Amoresco of 2009 and Group 14s of 2017 to see if it's still in compliance. We're also looking to try and, as Mr. Tebow said, to pull the monies that are assigned to Campello High Rise from the previous EPCs out of it so we can move forward on our Section 18 over there. The indefinite quantity is a 2-year contract with an option of third with board approval, and it's a not to exceed $500,000 contract. We then received on June 16th, we received one proposal after numerous packets were sent out. The proposal came from Group 14, who is actually holding the APC 2. The reviewing committee, Tom Tebow, Mike Patience, Nancy Macedo, and myself examined the proposal and have deemed that Group 14 is responsible. We would recommend award an indefinite quantity energy performance contract for 2 years with an option of a third year to Group 14 of 1325 East 16th Avenue, Denver, Colorado, in a not to exceed amount of $500,000.
We need a motion and a second from anybody.
Motion to move it.
Second.
A motion has been made by Commissioner Ernest Pettiford, seconded by Commissioner Carol Roberts. Motion is to award an indefinite quantity engineering performance contract for 2 years with an option for a third year to Group 14 Engineering of 1325 East 16th Avenue, Denver, Colorado, in a not to exceed amount of $500,000. Any discussion or questions on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, Mr. Tebow.
Commissioner Roberts.
Yes.
Commissioner Teixeira. Oh, I think we might have lost him for a moment. Commissioner Trask.
Yes.
Commissioner Pettiford.
Yes.
Commissioner Teixeira.
Yes.
Commissioner Sullivan.
Yes. Motion carries unanimous.
Thank you.
Item 13, award of contract, comprehensive modernization, phase 3D interiors, Caffrey Towers, project 24-7, exhibit J in your packets. Mr. Tebow.
If I could ask Mr. Barry to speak on this, please.
Thank you. Yes, on June 9th, Capital Improvements solicited general contractors for the comprehensive modernization phase 3D, which is interior renovations at Caffrey Towers. Phase 3D was had a construction budget of $2.5 million, which was to contain 4 risers, which is 30 apartments, and 2 additional risers in alternates of 1 and 2, where 16 more units. On July 1st, public bid opening was held. 4 bids were received, ranging from $1,683,300 to $2,036,000 as a base bid. and if you included the base bid, if you include the alternates, I should say, now they range from 2,565,400 to 2,981,000. Sorry about that. After the bids, the capital improvements and architect evaluated the bids for completeness. Additional reference checks were conducted on the apparent below Verica Construction. After the review, it was found that Verica Construction was deemed as responsible and responsible. We would recommend award a contract to Verica Construction of 219 Walnut Street, West Bridgewater, Mass. For comprehensive modernization phase 3D interior in the amount of $2,565,400, which includes both alternates.
Sorry.
Tim's muted.
Okay, I'm back.
I think someone in your house had a question on that.
No, that was the dog. The
I
guy
know.
upstairs came on.
I know.
They're two watchdogs. Kelly's doing much better, Tom. By the way.
Oh, great, great. That's wonderful to hear.
That's why you had that in stereo barking. We need a motion, item 13.
So
Wait a
moved.
second.
Make a motion that Verica Construction of West Bridgewater.
Ernie, Carol made that. You can second it.
Okay, second it.
You're going to live in a palace over there, Carol. $2.5 million.
Doesn't buy what he used to buy, Commissioner Trask.
A motion's been made by Commissioner Carol Roberts, seconded by Commissioner Ernest Pettiford. Motion is to award a contract in the amount of $2,565,400 to Verica Construction Incorporated of West Bridgewater, Mass. for the comprehensive modernization phase 3D interiors at Caffrey Towers, project 24-7. Any questions or discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Roll call, Mr. Tebow.
Commissioner Roberts.
Yes.
Commissioner Texera.
Yes.
Commissioner Trask.
Yes.
Commissioner Pettiford.
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Motion carries. Unanimous. Item 14, award of contract, water closet replacement, Manning Towers, project 24-3, and Sullivan Towers, project 24-8, exhibit K in your packets, Mr. Tebow.
If I could ask Mr. Barry to speak on this, please.
Thank you. Again, on June 23rd, 2021, capital improvement solicited for prime plumbing contractors for the 24-3 Manning Tower and 24-8 Sullivan Tower water replacement project. Then on July 13th, a public online bid open was held. 2 bids were received, ranging from $179,000 to $263,800. Giliona Plumbing and Heating Services is the apparent low bid with the amount of $179,000. Was deemed to be responsible after a review of the bid documents and reference checks. We would recommend to award a contract to Gilion Plumbing and Heating Services Incorporated of 31 Staff Road, Saugus, Mass. in the amount of $179,000 for the 24-3 Manning Tower and 24-8 Sullivan Tower water closet project.
What is a water closet?
A toilet.
When did it have, is that, it's always been called that?
The original toilets used to be under your stairs. It was in the closet under the stairs.
Oh, thank you.
We need a motion, item 14, and a second.
So moved.
Second.
A motion has been made by Commissioner Janet Trask, seconded by Commissioner David Texera. Motion is to award a contract in the amount of $179,000 to Gillion Plumbing and Heating Services Incorporated of Saugus, Mass. for the water closet replacement project at Manning Tower, project 24-3, and Sullivan Tower, project 24-8. Any discussion or questions on the motion?
I just got a question.
Yep. Yes.
For Mr. Barrett. And we did, on the past, we did work with Araouche Brothers. They did some work for us, right?
Correct.
And they have an idea what it takes to replace a toilet. And I believe Julian Plumbing, is this the first time they come on board?
They actually did the, just recently did the boilers at Ann Ward House.
Oh, okay. Because I see a difference, almost $85,000 on the bid, on the base bid.
Yep.
And Araouche brother, they did work for us in the past. Don't you think they would be close than that amount, about $85,000 difference?
I don't know what their schedule is right now. A lot of times when they have a lot of work, their numbers will go up. Aruzio has actually done a lot of work for us. And I'm just looking now because I don't know if he's actually got the contract on the filed sub bid. He may be the filed sub bid as well at Sullivan, at Caffrey Towers. I'm just trying to see if I can find that now. But yes, he's done quite a bit of work for us. Starting in 2001, I started working with him, so he's always been around.
So Commissioner Texera, we do see this from time to time where a vendor will throw in a high number because they're very busy, with the understanding that maybe nobody will bid on it, or everybody will go high, and it will be worthwhile to get all that extra money. So they pitch it in.
Yeah, but it's a gamble.
It is.
It's actually, they were the low bidder at on the filed sub plumbing at Caffrey Towers, and the other one that submitted was Gillion, and he was number 2.
Yeah, but they should consider, on the past, we did award them a contract. So they should, be more generous, if you want to call it that.
Us?
And yeah, to Brockton housing, because.
Oh, yeah. Again, it really comes down to a lot of it is, do they have the personnel right now? He just, again, he's $150,000 less on Caffrey Towers than Gillion. So,
yes, even if you don't have, just to say, if they would have got the contract, they would have $85,000 higher, and they're so busy, how they will get the help?
That's juggling the people around, pulling them away from someone who's not going to go crazy on them because they're not there.
Oh, okay.
That game. This again is all toilets. So one of the problems with that is just the ordering time alone on that many toilets all at once. We got.
Excuse me, water closets, please.
Yes, water closet. So that's nearly it's a little over 200 toilet water closets that they're looking for. So it's quite a bit of material having to sit and wait for.
And Commissioner Texera, this is a very, very common thing with plumbers where Mr. Barry has to constantly call the owner and say, you need to send more personnel to the job, because it's spreading it very thin. If you have any friends who are good in the trades, plumbing's not a bad place to be.
No, it
you
is.
can make a lot of money.
Believe me, I got my plumber. He does well for himself.
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? Item 14. We need a roll call, Mr. Tebow.
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Texera,
Yes.
Commissioner Trask,
Yes.
Commissioner Pettiford,
Yes.
and Commissioner Sullivan.
Yes.
Thank
Motion
you.
carries unanimous.
Thank you.
Item 14 has been removed and put up front.
That was 15.
Item 16, old business. Any old business? Hearing none. Item 17, new business. Any new business?
If I could make one comment, I just want to thank the board. You have a summer recess and for meeting. I didn't expect the meeting to be this long, but I want to let you know that the Housing Authority is extremely busy. Lots of things happening, lots of positive things happening. But I thank you for taking this time out today in the middle of the summer in July to spend a couple hours here. Thank you.
No problem.
Yes, thank you.
Any other new business? Item 18, we need a motion in a second. Don't run off. We got to do a roll call. Need a motion, item 18. And a second.
Second.
A motion has been made by Commissioner David Texera, seconded by Commissioner Carol Roberts to adjourn. Roll call, Mr. Tebow.
Commissioner Roberts.
Yes.
Commissioner Texera.
Yes.
Commissioner Trask.
Yes.
Commissioner Pettiford.
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman.
Yes, meeting adjourned.
And thank you very much. And all
Thank you,
enjoy the rest of your
everybody.
summer.
Thanks again.
Hey,
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
take care.
David, you in the shop today?